am making a project for my Secret Valentine. This is a partnership with Heat Transfer Warehouse. So my Secret Valentine lives in Texas. So I designed an SVG file. So I'm going to just go and upload that. And I will have this SVG for sale on my site, so you can go grab it. When you get the file, it'll come in a zipped folder, which you'll have to unzip. How to unzip a folder is different for every operating device, so you might have to do a little research to figure out how to do that. For me, I just right click and I get an extract all option. Once you have things unzipped and extracted, you're going to want to upload the SVG file, which will look like this. Not the one that has the pretty picture, the one that is a HTML document. So you can see that brings it in and it defaults straight to a cut image. That's because it's an SVG. You don't have to remove any background or tell it to save as a cut image or choose print then cut. You only have one choice, cut image. And there it is in my uploads. Now I can add it to my canvas. I'm going to cut this out of iron-on vinyl. And for me, I always forget to mirror my vinyl in the matte preview. So I'm going to use the flip button and flip horizontal. Now I don't have to remember to mirror. It's like it's already done for me. So now when I click make it, you can see it's already backwards, just the way I need it. Now it's time to cut out my iron-on vinyl, weed it, and then press it. So after I recorded the original video, I decided I wanted to tweak some things on the design, like there were little pieces inside some of these letters that I didn't want to deal with, so I got rid of them. So I just wanted you to see that I did change the SVG file a little bit. All right, we're going to flip this horizontally, and now I can click the make button, and you can see it's going to put the light teal on one cutting mat and the lettering on a different cutting mat. I love that the Cricut will break things up by color for me, so I don't have to figure that out as long as I've done the colored layers. So now when I click continue, it's going to connect to my machine, and I have it set for Iron On Plus, so it's telling me to make sure I click that mirrored button, but we flipped it before we even went to this screen, so we're fine. All right, let's start cutting. Now it's time to put my iron-on vinyl into the cutting mat. Make sure you put the shiny side down. That is the carrier sheet. So what we're cutting is actually the back side, and that's why we had to mirror our vinyl. Once it's all cut and we remove this from the mat, we're going to weed away all that excess. One question I get asked a lot is, what is my favorite brand of iron-on vinyl? That would be Caesar. I love the way it cuts and the way it weeds. It just has always worked so much better and smoother for me than any of the other brands of vinyl out there. When this is done cutting and I unload the mat, I'm going to hold the whole thing up close to the camera so you can really see that there's those cut lines. It's just so nice and clean and crisp. Now you might notice here I'm loading pink iron-on vinyl, and my original design had 2 shades of teal. Once I started playing around with picking colors, I really liked the way this bright pink popped off of the teal. So I decided to change my mind and go with a different color. But you can do that. Personalize this and make it your own. You could even use a patterned vinyl for the larger portion that's the state of Texas. That would look so cool to maybe have a pattern that has a whole bunch of hearts, or your favorite design in it, and then a pop of color for the lettering in the center. Now, if you want this SVG, I do have it on my website. I'll drop a link in the description below. You can get it for only $1. I like to make my SVG files really affordable so anyone can create amazing projects. The nice thing about this design, it's only 2 colors, so nice and quick and easy. And now we can start weeding. Some people like to weed their vinyl while it's still on the cutting mat. I like to take it off. I find that sometimes my hands end up sticking to my cutting mat, and that's not fun. Also, I'm getting older, so my eyes are not as good as they used to be. So I do tend to have to get right over the top of my vinyl to look down at it and weed it. I do like to use my pin pen to weed out the centers of my design first, and then I come in with my weeding tool and just hook a portion of the outer piece and peel that away to reveal the entire design. Also, I find that it weeds better when you have it down on a flat surface and you're holding that carrier sheet down and pulling away the excess. Yes, I'm holding it up to the camera now so you can see the magic happen, but really, when you're doing this in person, have it down on a flat surface. I feel like that helps so that you don't end up with what I had going on, where the vinyl I was weeding off was starting to stick to the carrier sheet. Now I can weed the other piece, and since this is a large design with no real details, I'm just going right to the corner and grabbing that and peeling back the entire thing. If you have never done an iron-on project that involves 2 colors or 2 layers, this would be a great beginner project because I've made this opening inside the state of Texas where the letters are going to set right into. So that's going to make this whole thing even easier for a beginner. I am pressing this design on a towel. So the first thing I'm going to do is lay the towel down on my heat press. And then I'm just going to press it for a few seconds to warm up the fabric. But this also removes any moisture that could be in the fabric. And that's going to give us a better press. Then I can lay the first layer down, which is the layer for the state of Texas. And then I'm going to put parchment paper over the top and press that for about 8 seconds. I'm not pressing it real long because I am going to be pressing again. And I wouldn't want to overheat this first layer when I'm pressing the second layer. First, I'm going to check and make sure that this made good enough contact with the fabric, and it did. So I'm just going to peel off that carrier sheet. Then I'm going to let this layer cool down because I don't want to put this back under the heat while it's still hot. That could cause it to melt, and we would not want to melt this first layer while we're pressing on the second layer. Now, since I live in Minnesota, I have actually taken a project and gone outside to help it cool down in between layers. Once that first layer is cool to the touch, I can simply place my second color right on top of it. Now, there was a little piece that I noticed I forgot to weed out when I was placing it. So just went back and weeded that out because I want my design to be perfect. And then I can just reposition the lettering and place things exactly how I want them. Then I will put a piece of parchment paper over this, put it back into the press, and now I'm going to press it for the full amount of time. Every product you use is going to have different pressing times and temps, so make sure you look on the product packaging. Even between the Caesar brand, it could vary between a metallic or a glitter for your temperature and time. So now I can pull it out of my press And I'm going to very carefully peel back that carrier sheet, and my project is done. I hope you and my Secret Valentine enjoyed this project. And I really hope this encouraged you to try a project that has two colors of iron on vinyl. It's not that hard and it's not that scary. So give it a try. Before you go, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. I love to hear from you.